Hi, welcome back to my garden. I'm here at the end of the White and Shade garden in what we've been calling the Stumpery, and I have a couple of projects that I'm working on for today. So first of all, we have a new stump in the Stumpery. This is an upside down kind of base of a tree. It was actually like, it's so hard to guess, but like I would guess at least 50 feet tall. And we discovered that the bottom was completely rotten. Now that this is cut open, you can actually see that the interior is like not only rotted away, but it's not even moist. It's just like crumbly and dry. Um, but anyway, this will make an amazing planter for spring bulbs. So I wanted to plant a bunch of bulbs in here. Last year I did them as late as January and they still came up and the ground isn't frozen or anything, so I think they'll be fine. And I also have a bunch of moss. It's actually currently on these stumps, which are from a tree that we had taken down. So I'm going to be scraping this off and then dressing up some of the stumps to help them look a little bit more aged, a little more settled in and stuff like that. But I'll start with filling this one in. So I have a few different kinds of bulbs, and then I also have a really kind of wood chippy heavy compost mix. So to begin with, I'm going to mix in a little bit of this soil just to bring the level up a tiny bit. And then maybe also just to like mix it in with what's there. It'll be nice and gritty. I'm not too worried about water pooling in here because it seems to be rotten the whole way through. So yeah, I think the water will still get out. And if not, I will have learned a lesson. So these will all end up being about like 6 inches down. I'm not sure how this will work with like kind of perennializing them, like if they'll come back next year or not. I hope that they do, but it's kind of an experiment, so we'll just see how it goes. I'm placing them like pretty close together. Like I feel like normally you'd want to space them a little bit more if they were going into the ground, but I'm kind of treating this like a pot. So the hope is that they'll do well and they'll come back next year, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. And I can also take them out in the summer. I may decide, like, once they're done blooming, I may decide that I want to put something else in here. Maybe like a nice little fern or something. Cool. So I brought the level up a little bit, and I'm going to grab these white crocuses. Snowstorm. And these ones say that they bloom January, February, March. I think for us, they're mostly February and March. So I'm going to take 5 of these. And then the hyacinths that I put in were the Carnegie, which are white. And I've planted them elsewhere in the garden too, or mostly in the White and Shade garden. And then supposedly they're scented too. So I thought that that would be nice kind of right along the end, because then you'll be able to smell them as you go by. And then I did 3 of the Thalia daffodils, which are also white, supposedly scented. I didn't really smell anything last year, but we'll see. Maybe they'll be happier this year. The crocuses I'm planting a little bit shallower. They're also going to come up and do their thing and then kind of go away as the other ones are coming up. I think I might actually put 2 more of the little crocuses out on this side. Awesome. So right at the top, I'm just going to top dress it with some composted mulch. That's actually probably like some of it at least is the same tree as what this is because it's local. So it should just like kind of make it look nice and smooth. All right, so that's pretty much done for now. So I'm going to move over to the other stump and I'll show you the plan for stripping moss off of the old stumps and then putting it on the new stump. Okay, so the main plan here is to not destroy things that are planted. So there's a few hellebores in here, some heuchera, and a few other things. There's a fern somewhere in here under the leaves. So I have these pieces of the tree that came down, and then I'm just going to use this knife. It's like an old kitchen knife, and basically just like scrape off big chunks of the moss. And then there's some of the old wood stuck to the bottom. I'm just going to leave it so as not to disturb it, I guess, as much as possible. And then I'll kind of just like tear it up into pieces to make it fit in different areas that might look kind of cute. I don't have to be super gentle with it, but I think, yeah, the more intact it is, I think the easier it will be for it to just like settle back in. I've kind of heard and read slightly conflicting things about how to transplant it, but I think in general you don't want to like crush the part right at the base that's like attached to the other stuff. And we'll see, some of these might come down too, but we'll just see what sticks and what does well. I love how the moss looks with the ferns, so I'll definitely be kind of covering those up. So I'm coming around the back now, and I'll try to get some close-up of this, but there's a spot over here that seems like pretty rotten away. So I thought I would see, I have this wood drill bit that's like 5/8. So I thought I might just see what happens if I drill into it. So there's a little pouch there, and I have a few leftover bulbs that I wanted to try planting. So we'll see which one ends up kind of like fitting in there. But I'm thinking I might try the grape hyacinths, and maybe I'll just put one in. I don't know, these ones seem like they want to have babies already. So I'll just put one guy in there. And then just see what happens. I'll just tuck him in with a little bit of soil. And now I want to see if there's any other spots that I can tuck a couple into. I'm coming over to the other side now to see if there's anything over here that I can work with. Because this side also had... Maybe I'll move this for now. Okay. I might try these guys just because they're so small. Glory of the Snow. I'm going to try and do a couple more and then seal them in all together. Okay, cool. So we'll see how those go. So this is the area where we had the tree taken out. You can see part of the stump is left over here. And I have a bunch of like hostas and other shade-loving things over here, so I do need to come in and plant something. I just haven't decided what. I just want to like, yeah, make sure that I pick the right tree. But right here in the front, I have... There's a big hosta right here, and I thought that I'd plant the rest of those, whatever they were called, Glory of the Snow or something. I thought that I might plant them down here because I love the combination of like spring bulbs coming up, and then as they start to fade and the leaves start to look a little ugly, you have like a plant like a hosta that comes up, and then it like covers it all up. So you don't have that kind of like ugly period. So I planted all the little bulbs that I was planning to plant today, and then I decided that although I don't want to plant anything in the middle over there because of the trees, etc., I think that I will plant some right over here and around this stump. They'll be pretty safe from the dogs, so it seems like a pretty good place for them. And the two that I have left are the Thalia daffodils and the Alium Nigrum, which is like white allium flowers. So those ones will bloom. The daffodils should bloom around like March, maybe into April, because I'm planting them kind of late. And then the allium should take over kind of end of April to beginning of May. So it should look pretty nice for a while. So I switched out the drill bit for my auger. I'm only using the, whatever this one is, 1 inch, maybe 1.5, because the bulbs aren't that big. So I tried to be as random as I could with making the holes so that it wouldn't look too formal. And then I'm just going to put them in kind of at random. Like obviously it's easy to tell the bulbs apart, but I'll just do my best to not put just like a bunch of one in a row and then a bunch of the other. I'm just covering them with just a little bit more mulch. Well, that's everything I had planned for today, so I'll keep you posted on how the moss goes in its new home and on how the bulbs do as they come up. I'm sure I'll share footage as they arrive, and I am expecting them to be a little bit late, but because I planted a bunch of other bulbs throughout the whole White and Shade garden, maybe like a month and a half ago at this point, I think those ones will start coming up a little sooner, so it won't look bare for too long. But yeah, thanks for coming along, and I'll catch you next time.